wow. For me, it just feels like being on the farm.
When in Nova Scotia, we have to sip on the local cider. So I came over here to Annapolis Cider Company to try some of the local brews.
I'm no cider expert, but I've been getting really interested in this appley drink, which, believe it or not, is actually closer to wine or champagne than it is to beer.
Full fridge here of different types of cider. So we got the Earl Blue, which I tried the other day. It's really, really nice. It's got Earl Grey and blueberry. So maybe we'll get a taste of that later. And this is the tap room. This is the tap corner. So I'm excited to try some ciders back here.
But before we do, Joey is gonna give us a quick behind the scenes of how craft cider is actually made.
Here we go. My first cider brewery tour.
Well, not brewery, but you get it.
Let's go check it out.
All of the apples for the cider are from around here?
Yeah, literally on this street. And then
So what's the process? How do you get from apples to cider?
So they grow and then they press, and we just sort of order what we need because we don't have orchards and nor do we have a press. And so this is sort of unique in Nova Scotia. Not really many cideries have their own press here.
Okay.
Because apple growing is such an ingrained part of the culture. Like cider makers have just been like, well, you guys are already growing.
Okay.
You guys are already pressing. You guys are already doing everything. Like, why would we invest in that infrastructure to do what you're doing already, right? Yeah. So you sort of get like the growers growing and then the makers making the product.
So tell me a little bit like what happens when the juice
the raw juice. So yeah, we get raw juice and then we add some tannins. We'll build some body with some oak or chestnut or even citrus wood, and then we pitch with yeast. Our process also involves another step where we chaptalize, like we add sugar at the beginning. Yeah, chaptalization.
Oh, wow.
So
that's a new word for me.
We add a bunch of sugar, and then that brings the ABV way up, right? Like the more sugar you have, the more alcohol you get on the back end, right?
Okay.
So we ferment to like 10% alcohol, and then we back sweeten everything with a little bit of fresh juice. There's no spores or living creatures that can survive, like no bacteria can get through, no yeast. A lot of production, like a lot of what we do is made off-site because cans are that's the big part of the business.
Right.
That's what supports everything
That's
else.
the volume.
This is the artisanal experience, the boutique experience.
Okay.
Anything here, this is what we keg out of, this is what we serve up on the taps out of, which is really cool because it's still very legit. Like, I mean, sitting in these tanks are all small batches that we've done recently for either something different or Cider Club, which goes out twice a year. So this one is a Cox Orange Pippin Charmat method single varietal cider. So Cox Orange Pippin is this old British variety that the English brought to the Annapolis Valley like 300 years ago and have been growing since. Very complex dessert qualities, and we fermented this on chestnut, let it age on the lees, and it's the yeasts that create this beautiful mousse here.
A lot of foam.
Yeah.
So what's the best way to drink this fine vessel?
Just get into it.
Chug it back.
Just get into it. You're gonna get some foam, but it's like it's got a big, rich Cox Orange, but like you can taste the sort of creaminess and breadiness from the time on the lees. But the mousse is a lot finer when the yeast make it rather than force carbonate.
Oh, okay.
So like we force carbonate most things, but the Charmats, the yeast make the bubbles.
It's reminiscent of, for me, like orange wine.
Okay.
It's got a bit of that sort of, unique vibe.
Now we have to go try all the ciders. All right, it's time to sip. We've got not only a flight, but 2 flights. We've got the full gamut of different ciders. I'm probably gonna share them with my wife here, but what I heard is all the apples are actually grown here locally. So you're getting a very, very local product. And we're gonna start with the crisp and dry. Oh yeah, that's really good. I typically don't like ciders that are too sweet, especially the commercial ones from the can. And this one reminds me of a real raw cider.
I won't make you sip all of them with me, but there were a few that really stood out.
Purple Rain, hibiscus vibes, a little bit more floral. It's of course fruity too. I feel like I'm describing some of our favorite coffees. And then we've got, oh wow, that has a unique taste. So this is actually called the old-fashioned Gravenstein. And at first sip, it just tastes pretty similar to the classic. It looks very similar. But don't be deceived. This one has a much more sort of earthier, fermentier taste. For me, it just feels like being on the farm. So, you know, I'm not a farm boy, but I do like getting out in nature, immersing myself with the rustic parts of country life from time to time. It reminds me of being around the barn, being around the animals. It's a really nice rustic cider. Last but not least, we've got the Earl Blue. This is made with Earl Grey tea and also blueberries and probably some other stuff, but I absolutely love it. I got to try this the other day with my parents in their house here in Nova Scotia, and that's actually what put me on to Annapolis Cider Company. So it kind of blew me away. I love Earl Grey, but it's nice to have that combination all together. If you've followed some of my recipes in the past, I love a good Earl Grey espresso martini. So this, of course, is very different from that drink, but still gives us those nice tea vibes. If you're in the region, check out Annapolis Cider Company. But if not, go find some nice cider where you are. Maybe you're not a cider fan, maybe you haven't tried something that you like, but at least by sipping through these 6 different glasses, you know, I was able to taste some really interesting stuff and probably more innovation to come. So
Very different styles. This is a more British influenced and this is more French influenced, but still uniquely Canadian.
This is awesome. So we learned all about cider. We're gonna drink these at home. You'll probably see some more of them on Instagram. And in the meantime, go follow Annapolis Cider Company down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're gonna be sipping around the world, so stay tuned. See you out there.